we have a problem. Genshin Impact is way too good at their character design. Insanely good, and that's not a good thing. As a certified simp, I may not be the best at math, but I do know that there are 24 hours in a day. Pair that with more than 50 playable characters at this moment, and we have quite the problem. If you are a fellow simp, I'm sure you understand that this means that we will not be able to simp for everyone in a timely manner. However, do not despair, my friend. I may be a dumb bitch, but I'm also an artist. I am about to take your favorite characters and I am going to fuse them into one. Now, to keep things fair and fresh, I have thrown the entire roster into a randomizer. I want everyone to have an equal chance at having their favorite characters drawn. So to me, it's very important that this happens randomized and unbiased, because I do have my favorites. Now that's out of the way, let's get started. To the drawing room we go. I'm happy to announce that today's fusion will be between Yae Miko and Chongyun. I literally cannot stress enough how well these two characters combine. Let me explain, because you're about to fucking... Your mind is about to fucking blow. The first and most important thing about character design is a concept. And when fusing two characters with different occupations and different personality types, it only makes it more difficult. Or does it? Chongyun is an exorcist and Yae is a priestess. Both of them are spiritually inclined, and one particular thing sprung to mind. And that is the Japanese Onmyoji. Onmyoji were Japanese institutionalized shamans who practiced some really fancy old magic called Onmyodo at the order of the imperial court. These duties included exorcisms and divinations, amongst others. Now here's where it gets interesting. I was very tempted to draw a kitsune like Yae because, as an artist, I just couldn't resist the fluff. This turned out to be a very good decision because as I began to dig deeper, I realized something. I remembered myself playing a game under the same name where you play as a man named Abe no Seimei. Now, something important to note is that Abe no Seimei was an actual person in Japanese history and mythology. But that's not only because of his superior abilities as an Onmyoji. Abe no Seimei was believed to be the child between a young nobleman known as Abe no Yasuna and a fox yokai called Kuzunoha.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
But it doesn't end there. In Genshin Impact, Onmyoji are not a new thing. In fact, in a previous event called Labyrinth Warriors, we meet one such an Onmyoji known as Kamuna Harunosuke. And here's the crazy part. Kamuna Harunosuke is an Onmyoji associated with the Narukami Shrine. Here we have the design for a young man from Inazuma, a fox spirit and an Onmyoji. An exorcist inevitably associated with the Narukami Shrine as per his occupation and birthright, bearing both elements from Yae and Chongyun, and everything checks out. Everything has roots somewhere, and I'm fucking floored. How the fuck? I'm freaking out, man. I'm not okay. Okay, I'm calm. I'm Okay, so we have our concept, so let's get into personality. Chongyun and Yar... Chongyun and Yae are at the opposite ends of the spectrum. Chongyun is a thoughtful, kind of introverted young man that is hard to read sometimes. Yae is a femme fatale with a sharp tongue and a love for trolling people. She also owns her own publishing house, so you know that your girl makes some bank. With a duty to Inazuma, that is pretty brutal with all the deaths that have been happening around the place. I don't see this character being very cheerful and happy-go-lucky. I mean, can you imagine the horrible hauntings that are happening around the place? Holy shit. So I thought the best course of action was for this dude to be pretty damn serious. I also made him an amputee because, you know, he's a fighter. So far, we've seen very little scars on Genshin's playable characters. Not that that's a bad thing, but I felt like going to the extreme to show a consequence of choosing that kind of path. It also opens a gateway to a new kind of narrative where this character struggles with everyday things sometimes. But despite that, showing considerable patience and grace whenever things don't work out. I also gave him an adjusted Onmyoji uniform, borrowing Yae's long sleeves and adding that compelling side boob. Listen man, it wouldn't be me if I didn't add something to simp about, okay? Then I added shide to his waist, which is a kind of folded paper used in purification rituals performed by Miko. And honestly, I think we're done with this drawing. Here he is. I'm not 100% happy with it, but it's definitely not a bad attempt. What do you think? Not too shabby, right? I hope you like him. Thank you for watching. Mwah! And until the next one.